What is up, Red Shirts Fantasy Football Podcast listeners and YouTube subscribers, viewers? Thanks so much for checking out this rookie profile here. Today's prospect is going to be Jake Fromm, the quarterback out of the University of Georgia. And with Jake Fromm, we have to talk about kind of his start to his college career because he was a kid who was a five-star recruit coming out of high school, originally committed to play for Nick Saban in Alabama and ended up changing his mind, going to Georgia, staying in his home state, and actually starting a bunch of games there as a freshman. At the time, Jacob Eason, another quarterback prospect in this 2020 class, was the starter, and unfortunately, he got injured, opening up the door for Jake Fromm to be the starter in year one in his freshman season and leading the Bulldogs all the way to the college football playoffs. So he started off hot as a freshman, really made a name for himself there in year one and took a nice step forward in year two. However, this past season, I don't know if it was any changes to the personnel or what, but it looked like Jake Fromm definitely took a step backwards as a passer and as a player. Now, I want to put this out there because he is, in every sense of the word, he is a winner. And at the quarterback position, that definitely matters. And it matters in terms of being a leader on the field, being able to produce in high leverage situations. Jake Fromm can do that. But like I said, this season as a player and as a prospect, I think he took a step backwards here. Let's look at his 2019 stats. His profile here is not super encouraging. Just 60.8% completion percentage was down about 7% from his season in 2018. So, like I said, took a step back. The nice thing about Jake Fromm, though, is that he protects the football. You'll see here just 5 interceptions. He never threw more than 7 in a season in his time at Georgia, and playing against SEC defenses that have a lot of NFL talent. I think that's something that is worth mentioning. He's a smart passer. He'll protect the football. He won't turn it over a ton. And I think that shows here in his stat line. However, there is some big time concerns as a prospect, like I said, with Jake Fromm. And honestly, the biggest concern for me is just I'm not sure that his arm talent is good enough for the NFL level. Like I said, he's a smart quarterback. He's a good decision maker. But when you talk about pure talent, pure athleticism, the arm talent of a Joe Burrow, the arm talent of a guy like Tua Tagovailoa, he is not on their level. He doesn't have the same velocity. He certainly doesn't have the same power to push the ball down the field. And I don't think he has enough strength on his throws to make NFL level throws against these types of defenders, specifically out routes. I saw a couple balls that came up short that in college he could get away with. I don't know that he gets away with those in the pros. Could easily go for an interception or even worse, a pick six if a defender can jump those routes. But like I said, he's smart with the ball in his hands. He's a good pocket passing quarterback because of the fact that he has very quiet feet in the pocket. You don't see him really get scared or kind of get trigger happy, so to speak. He does well under pressure, and I think that will set him up for success in terms of being a quarterback who can protect the football at the next level. Now, when you talk about his weaknesses, one thing that we love about guys like Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, for example, these guys that are mobile enough to create yards on the ground. That is not Jake Fromm's strong suit by any means. Like I said, he's a traditional pocket passer through and through. And actually, in his freshman season, he showed some flashes of being able to pick up a first down on the ground. He actually amassed over 70 yards rushing. Again, not something that he did a lot of, but when he had to do it, he could. In his sophomore year and his junior year, though, he literally rushed for negative yardage each of those 2 seasons and was not anything that I saw on tape at all with this guy. So when we talk about fantasy football and trying to translate that to the next level, what we care about as fantasy players, Jake Fromm is going to be one-dimensional. He is not going to pick up yards on the ground. He's not going to pad his stats the way someone like a Russell Wilson does, Deshaun Watson, those type of guys. That is not Jake Fromm's game. He is a pocket passer through and through. And so that definitely limits his upside in fantasy. And obviously that's what we care about a ton, is those fantasy points. Now, as an NFL prospect, Jake Fromm is not going to go in the first round, most likely. You're looking at a day 2 or day 3 pick. And I think he projects as more of a wait and see type of prospect. Can he develop that arm, and can he develop into being a better NFL prospect over the next couple of years? That remains to be seen. But as of right now, it's looking like Jake Fromm is probably going to be a backup at the next level for at least a couple of seasons, and we'll see kind of how he progresses from there. So if you're talking about 2020 fantasy football, Jake Fromm, unfortunately, not on our radar. However, in 2021 and beyond, potentially we're talking about Jake Fromm taking over as a starter for a depth chart in the NFL. And so for Superflex leagues, he's a lot more intriguing than in one quarterback leagues if we're talking dynasty rookie drafts. I think in one quarterback leagues, you're going to be able to snag this guy in the third or maybe even fourth round of your draft. And in Superflex, probably a late second, early third type of pick there for Jake Fromm. So like I said, lots to like about the profile in terms of being a good college quarterback. I think he's going to be someone that we remember as a better college player than an NFL player, and he doesn't have the same upside as other quarterbacks in this class. So he's going to come in probably in our ranks for the rookie ranking somewhere around quarterback 5, 6, 7, somewhere in that range. So likely more of a wait and see prospect rather than a plug and play prospect here at the next level. All right, everybody, that does it for this rookie profile here. Jake Fromm, quarterback out of Georgia. If you like what you are hearing and watching, please hit that like button. Take a second to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We have several other videos as well as rookie profiles here on the YouTube channel, and we're going to have a lot more coming to you here very soon. All right, everyone, until next time, we are the Red Shirts.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Red Shirts Fantasy Football Podcast. Hit us up on Twitter at RedShirtsFFPod and check out our website, redshirtsfantasyfootball.com.